All right, so we are here. This is Black Spark Cafe, but we're actually doing a special edition today. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally we talk about sports or growing topics, but today we're going to do a almost like a Father's Day edition. So what I kind of have is two good friends of mine. We got BK and we got Blak or Darryl or Jehovah Bobby. I don't know what name he's going to go off of today, but what we're going to do is it's a Father's Day edition, and kind of we're going to have some conversations. It's going to be some heavy conversation about what's going on in our community, especially about Black fathers, and it's just going to be some good. We're going to make it nice and fluid and make it a nice flow with it. But first and foremost, so y'all already know me. I'm Anthony, so I'm one of the co-hosts of Black Spark Cafe, and I'm one of the co-founders of Emerging Black. I have to my right.
My name's BK, Brandon, proud father. I have one son. He's 11 years old. I'm my only child.
Okay.
I'm Blak.
Quit holding the mic.
Man, I got six. Whatever, man. I got 6 kids, and I just do what I can do for them.
Okay. I have 3 kids. So I have 2 boys, 1 girl. That's right. Yeah, I got 2 boys, 1 girl. Yeah, I had to double check that.
Right.
Yeah. And 6 kids, what you got?
5 girls, 1 boy.
Oh my God. Woo. Man, listen. So well, we all live a difficult life. So the conversation today and the way how this is gonna go is this is unscripted. So this is something that normally we have a script and we kind of talk about it. We're really gonna sit down and break this down and have these conversations, and we're gonna give a chance for our viewers to be able to kind of chime in as well before this airs and kind of sit down and talk about it. So one of the main topics that I really wanted to start the conversation off was last night. So last night, unfortunately, here at the town center, there was a shooting. Unfortunately, 4 young men were actually shot. 3 of them were murdered and killed, and 1 of them is in critical condition. So, of course, nothing against the police, but there's no evidence, there's no information, nothing's being released outside of who died and who passed away. So, fellas, what do you guys think about what we can do to kind of help this, or what's your thoughts on the situation, especially with the crime that's going on? What do you think?
Well, first off, I think it starts at home. I feel like parents have to monitor their kids more. Know what they're doing on social media. Know who they hang out with. It seemed like the new generation or some older parents have gotten slack, and they've kind of forgot about the old traditions of monitoring your kids. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with putting restrictions on your kids, having them come in, or just kind of guide them in who they can hang with, and you know what I'm saying? Just kind of being a constant reminder for them trying to grow up right. Nowadays, kids, they don't really have no supervision. They hang with who they want to hang with. They go and come when they please, and it's just like it's no repercussions, not physical repercussions, but it's like it's no stern parent there to say, hey, it's time to be back in the house. You shouldn't be hanging out with these people or whatever. Nothing against anybody, but sometimes you have to look out for your family. You have to, because nobody else will. If you don't look out for your kids, they'll fall by the wayside in the streets. And that's what's going on today.
Yeah.
What you think?
I agree with him 100%. I feel like nowadays kids are raising themselves instead of the parents raising them. And you just look at, how we were brought up. We didn't have any social media. You had to be in by the time the street lights came on. That was one rule. You just didn't even mess with.
Exactly.
And the parents had a bigger input in who you surrounded yourself with. We weren't allowed to just go and spend a night at anybody's house. If we did, if we brought a friend over to the house, I know my parents, well, who are your people? They wanted to meet your parents.
Exactly.
You call them, and your child is down here, So, and now that's not going on. And I think that has a lot to do with babies having babies. As time progresses, kids having kids. And then, so they don't know how to properly govern their children's actions and hold them accountable. That's another thing. Kids these days are not being held accountable. They're spoiled and they have this sense of entitlement. He renting Corvettes for him to go to prom, and then the next week he's shooting somebody.
All right, slow down, because we're gonna definitely talk about that. We definitely gonna talk about that because I have that's one of the questions that we're gonna try to. So let me ask y'all this. So, what do you think? What's the conversation that you and you can either answer it from pre or post. What's the conversation that you have before your kid goes out? And then something like this happens, or what's the conversation that you have after this happens and your kid wants to go out, especially as a Black father, and especially because we all have boys. Some of us have more girls than boys. I'm not gonna say nobody's names, but what do you say to your son as a Black father? What is that conversation that you have?
Well, first and foremost, I pray over him. I pray over my son all the time. Before I go to work, I pray over him. And, because I'm not there when he goes to school due to the fact that I go to work extra early. If he's going out, or if he's going over a friend's house, I pray because I don't know what they have going on at their house per se. I mean, I may know the parents and may know the family, but, you only know to a certain extent. So I pray over my son a lot. And, like, when something like this happens where his peers are being gunned down and stuff like that, and he wants to go out, all I can do is say, keep your head on the swivel. Look for things that don't, sit well with you. If something doesn't seem right, that's, don't go along with it. Or if you feel uneasy about something, then you know right from wrong. So if you're around people who, and you see that they're kind of doing the wrong thing, don't be afraid to distance yourself from them, because only a coward follows. And I tell my son that all the time. So I have and I didn't bring it, but it's something that I typed up for my son to help with his self-esteem. And it's pretty much like a passage, but in the passage it says that I will be a leader, not a follower. And I have that in bold print, and I wanted that to stand out to him because following can get you killed. It could be someone saying, hey, you want to go to the skating rink? And for a fact that an incident took place that Friday in school, and it may follow up that evening in the skating rink. But because you don't have a backbone to say, you know what, no, I'm going to stay home. You go ahead and go, and a fight breaks out and somebody gets hurt. So I tell my son, a coward follows. Be a leader. If something doesn't sit right with you, and he's only 11, so as he gets older, I'm pretty sure this conversation will have to be had again, and it'll be more intense and more in depth. But I just tell him if something doesn't seem right, don't go along with it. It's no crime in having your own mind.
That's good. That's good. What you got?
That goes all the way back to how you said earlier when we was talking. Pick your friends wisely. Like I said, nowadays parents, it just seems like they're more relaxed on their kids. They don't have an input on who their kids hang around. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like if your kid is hanging around, first off, you should raise your kids to think independently. You see what I'm saying? To think for themselves, to know right is right, wrong is wrong. But if your kid is hanging around a bad influence, you should know it. You see what I'm saying? You really should know it. And even if you don't know it, you should teach a kid to know the difference between right and wrong. Like you said, what if something happened? That goes to what if it happened with that person? So your kid should be able to say, nah, I don't want to go to the skating rink. All that stuff happened at school with you and whoever, whatever else. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be involved in that. You see what I'm saying? That's the way we should raise our kids, to be able to think independently, to be able to make right decisions instead of wrong decisions. Now, don't get it wrong. Kids gonna make wrong decisions. That's all part of growing up. What you tell your son, you tell him nicer than what I tell my kids. I tell them, don't be no damn dummy. Don't be a dummy for nobody, because there will be nobody out there to come to your rescue when you make a dumb decision. I tell my kids, when you make a dumb decision, it's your dumb decision. And you're going to be there by yourself with your dumb decision. So try to not make a dumb decision. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm fortunate enough. It's kind of a double-edged sword. My son, he don't really go nowhere. He just stays home on the game. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword. I got to get him motivated to do stuff. He don't never go nowhere. Now, my girls, that's another problem because they older. They want to go out. And I always have to tell them, you have to be careful going out. The same problems that's happening with these young males, it's happening with the girls too. Just look at the news. Girls getting shot. I mean, they fighting in groups, and I tell my girls, be selective of who you hang with and who you go out with, because you never know. You don't want nothing to happen to you. And I was strictly speaking on, the getting in trouble side. I didn't even get to the part where I'm telling them what it's perverts out there that want to snatch them any kind of way, left and right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the hardest thing I have explaining to my girls. Like, it's dangerous out there. But they teenagers, so they want to go about and live their life and do that. But I'm an involved dad, so whether they like it or not, I gotta let them know. I can't sugarcoat it for them. You see what I'm saying? Not when they get to the age to where they 16, 17, 18. You see what I'm saying? Even my grown daughter, I still tell her, like, where are you going? Like, be careful.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't never want my kids to get comfortable to think everything is just gonna be okay, because it's not.
So let me ask you this. I know personally for me, because I have my boys and then I have my daughter too, and I understand. Trying to. I guess my biggest thing is. I guess the best question to kind of figure out is, like, how do you feel raising, your children, raising your son, and raising our kids? Because I know for me, it's a situation where it's pins and needles. Every day is a pins and needles type thing. Right. And I understand where you're coming from when you're saying pray. Like, and I do believe in praying for my kids. But at the same time, I'm like, it's that fine line that I'm trying to figure out. I don't want to destroy them as a person for what is going on with society and have them paranoid. You know what I mean? Because I still want them to be a kid, but at the same time, like, my kids are 9, 8, and 5. So, I have the youngest of the bunch out of all of us. So, teaching my 5-year-old, he is more effective with his hands. You know what I mean? He likes to get things resolved with his hands. And I'm like, listen, son, that's not the way how you have to do it.
That's a 90s mentality.
You're right, because that's how we were raised.
That's right.
So it's like that situation where, like, I don't want to say I'm afraid for my kids, but raising them, I'm just 100% cautious. Yeah. Do y'all feel, is that a right way to be in today's society? Or is it something where you should just, because I'm still strong and I'm still firm, but at the same time, and I think my wife, she'll say that, she's like, you always have him on edge. But I'm like, that's the way how life is. What do y'all think? How do y'all feel?
I'm always cautious. I don't always show it in front of my son because I don't want him to be scared or be afraid or be nervous. But definitely, I mean, if you just look at the chain of events that take place in our country on a daily basis, whether it's school shootings, mass bombings. I took my son to a football game. My son plays football, and he loves football, and that's something that he wants to do with his life. I took him to a football game. I won't say what schools were involved because I don't want to discredit the two schools, but we had to lay on the ground because gunshots rung out at a high school football game. You know what I'm saying? You have kids being snatched at theme parks. My son is going to school and he's coming home telling me such and such got arrested for smoking weed. My son is in the 5th grade. I didn't see people smoking weed in school until I was a junior. High school.
High school for me.
So it's like times are getting a lot harsher than what they were. And so I'm definitely, like, I pray over my son before I go. And that's only because that's how I saw my parents do that. And but I'm always cautious, especially when me having joint custody and my son, when it's his week to be with his mom, she lives in a high crime area. I'm extremely cautious, and you know, I talk to my son until he goes to sleep, and then you know, I know the principal at the school. I know his teacher. I'm texting him. He made it there. All right. Instead of me calling him saying, "Hey, you made it. Where you at?" Da 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 da. For him to be like, "What? But my dad always freaking out." I can make sure that he's in good hands without actually having to go to him directly. So yeah, I'm extremely cautious. I just go about it without freaking him out because at 11 years old, I want to preserve some of his innocence that he has left, and I want him to be able to be a kid. So yeah.
What do you think?
I think as a father, you should always be cautious. But I've come to the realization that we living in a digital media age. It wasn't like when we was coming up, where the only way communication got around if things happened, it was just because we was on a bicycle. We was riding around to each other's house or to the next neighborhood. That was it. That was the only way you saw things happening. Strictly on your bicycle. I don't blame social media because social media was created as an outlet for people to network, for businesses and things like that. But with anything, it's two sides, a heads and a tails. You see what I'm saying? So social media also have that bad side, and you have to understand with everything being a media age, your kids are exposed to that. So they see what other kids doing from other cities and other neighborhoods and even around the world. That's like the stupid challenges we was talking about earlier. They see this. Now, this may not necessarily be happening in your neighborhood, but this is happening in this state, this state, this state. And when you compile it, it's happening to basically every city in America, just in a different neighborhood. So kids get influenced and they see things, and to me, I believe it made them feel like, well, it's okay. That's why I said parents need to be more cautious on what their kids are into as far as social media, because it does has a big impact. I don't blame social media at all because it's like I said, it's a heads and a tails. It's not gonna stop. The only thing I feel like as parents we can do is try to monitor it. You see what I'm saying? Just to make sure that stuff that they seeing is correct or whatever, and we could try to limit the intake of the bad outside influences that they see. But simply because that happened, as fathers, we should always be cautious. Yeah. We should because it's so many influences that's out to get our kids. I call them demon influences. It's so many of them. They come in every way. Even if they're not coming from social media, that don't mean the kids and the kids that your kid interact with doesn't see this on social media. So now it's a trickle effect. It's a trickle effect. It always come down. So some type of way your kid is going to be exposed to things that as a dad you don't want them exposed to. So now you have to be extra on edge. You have to worry about who they hang with or where they go. And like you said, you have to worry about, are you getting to school on time just because of the neighborhood or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like it plays a big part. So I think naturally being overly cautious or cautious, like I think every dad honestly is cautious like that.
So now I know you had said that you reached out to the principal, you talked to the teachers of his school. So let me ask you this. I mean, as far as how do you feel about the support? Because I know, most dads, they don't do that. You know what I mean? They don't have the ability to do that. So 9 times out of 10, the Black father is kind of painted in a negative light, Yeah. So how is that perceived? I mean, are you getting feedback on him? Because I know, for example, like I know for my son's daycare, my youngest son's daycare, they're kind of shocked. They're shocked that, I'm like, no, call, if there's something going on in school, call me. You know what I mean? Call me. Don't call his mama, call me. Let me know what's going on. So, and they're like, oh, well, it's nice. It's refreshing to see a father, engaged. And to me, that kind of struck me back because I'm like, well, what do you mean, refreshing to see a father engaged? So as gentlemen that are engaged, like what do you think about the negative image of the Black father? Like, do you think it still exists? You know, and then I want to break down into what do we think causes it? You know, what causes that image?
It definitely still exists because, you know, there are fathers who, you know, it's kind of like if you take, let's say you break it down to just 100 men. 50% of those men out of that 100 may not just want to be in a child's life. They just may not want to. For whatever reason, they're just running from responsibility. Don't know how to be a father because they didn't have a father prior. Or for whatever messed up reason, 50 out of that 100 don't want to be in a child's life. 25 are in jail, incarcerated, due to their upbringing or their environment they were exposed to, whatever, luck ran out, they're incarcerated. So that's 75 out of that 100 that are already out of the picture. Then out of that last 25, you have maybe 15 that really, really, really want to be in their child's life. But the child's mother has done so much to push that father away to where he's at, you know, he's up to here. He's fed up. He doesn't know what to do just to get, you know, time with his child. The judicial system was set up to tear him down and not uplift him. And then you maximize that with a bitter baby mama, you know. Now those 15 are just, you know, at the wit's end, they're giving up. That leaves 10. Who's going to say, you know what, no matter how much you push me away, no matter, you know, how much you bash me on social media, no matter how many foul things you tell my child, I'm still going to be here regardless. And in that 10, out of that last 10, maybe 5 actually know their rights and know how to go and do research and know how to go and acquire a lawyer or a public defender to help them, you know, get visitation and get joint custody and stuff like that. So when you look at that, that's why it's so shocking. It's when people, you know, I would have the principal tell me, you know, it is refreshing to see a Black man in his child's life. And I know where that stems from. That just stems from, you know, my mother, her father wasn't around. He was put on child support, and my grandmother said, look, I don't want nothing from you, you know, this time with, you know, your kids, and he wouldn't do it. And who knows how far back that goes. Yeah. You know, and it didn't just start with our generation. It's been going on for years. So it's upsetting, but that's what motivates me to be a father. Yeah. It's because I hate when they say mama's babies, daddy's babies. I hate that. I hate that term with a passion. And that's why, that's one of the things that fuels me to pride myself on being a father, because it's like, at the end of the day, we're all going to be judged for indiscretions. And I don't want to have known that I was put in place to watch over something, and I was in charge of a life. I was responsible for, you know, first I was blessed to even be able to bring a life into this world, and I'm responsible for it, and I neglected it. I almost rather be, you know, called anything else other than a deadbeat father. And then when you look at the stuff that's going on, those boys who, I guarantee you, those 4 boys who were either, you know, the ones whoever did the shooting, I guarantee they probably come from broken homes or messed up environments, you know. And I feel like, especially with boys, it's really important with girls, but on the other end though, it's like it's important for a father to be in his child's life, whether it's a girl or a boy. But I think it's different. Equally as important, but just different. But with a Black male, he already has 2 strikes. He's Black and he's a male. So by you neglecting him, by you not being around for him, by you turning your back on him, you've made it just that much more easier for society to give him that 3rd strike. And that 3rd strike could end up, you know, in a Trayvon Martin situation or a Philando Castile, anything. Yeah. So that's why I really pride myself and make sure I remain in the picture, because if I don't, then I'm only enabling society to wipe him out.
Right. So what you think, Blak? I mean, I know what BK was saying. That's kind of deep. So when you take it to that level there, and I know you had already said that, about trying to avoid your kids from being dummies and, what you want to focus on. So what do you think about the whole fact of just trying to make sure, they're okay?
First off, I think the image of the black father is so smeared. I mean, it's literally smeared like a shit stain. I'm
laughing because this is the knowledge that we've been using for the last couple of days. Yeah.
And BK, I hear your facts, but sadly I gotta disagree with them. And I'm only speaking from my perception. Mm-hmm. I know 100 men, and I would say 75% of them want to be in their child life. 75% of them. The percentage of the fathers who don't want to be in their child life, I would say that's only about 7%. And I feel like that's what helps smears black fathers. You see what I'm saying? Mm. Like, you may have 45% who financially able to take care of their kids, but 75% of them really want to be in their kids' life. You see what I'm saying? They just may not have the resources, or you see what I'm saying, or know the next step to do. It's a lot of hardships being a parent, being a father. But I believe there are more black fathers out there who want to be in their kids' life that just may not know how to. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like if a father is on his feet, I feel like he should educate another father on how to, you know what I'm saying, to maybe help out with his situation, how to make it a little easier. And a lot of fathers get discouraged. They do, because you see what I'm saying? Just to have the equal rights as a mother is challenging. It's really challenging. Because, for one, you have to come up with all this money. Just to have equal rights to a child that you helped create, you have to come up with all this money. That's discouraging right there. Yeah. And then with the system involved, they only give you so much time. You go through the whole court system.
Every other
you do
weekend.
That. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Then it's like this is your child. This child was made 50-50, but it's like they will slap you in the face and say, hey, you can get your kid every other weekend. It's 52 weeks in a year. So if you're getting your kid every other weekend, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. You have your child 24 to 26 days out the year as compared to 365 days. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That would discourage anybody. Yeah. That'll discourage anybody. That'll make them feel like, man, I really want to do right for my kid, be in my kid's life, but God, it's just like everything just trying to take me down. You see what I'm saying? And I believe people fall by the wayside. I don't believe it's that many people out there who don't want to be in their kid's life. Sometimes it's just hard. They don't know the next step to take. So the ones that are in their kids' life financially and you know what I'm saying, not necessarily financially, you know what I'm saying, physically, I salute y'all. You see what I'm saying? Because even physically being in your kid's life nowadays is proven to be challenging for a lot of black fathers. Yeah, it is. You see what I'm saying? The reason the reason why I believe some principals would tell you, man, it's refreshing to see a black father. You see what I'm saying? Like, that actually out here care. I don't believe in that, because it's a lot of them that do care. They just don't know the next step. Or it could be as simple as they can't even go to the school because they not on paperwork. Everything fall back on the parents for that child. Mm-hmm. People can always say, hey, co-parenting is easy. No, it's not. It take real parents to co-parent. It take dead serious real parents to co-parent. There's a lot of people that say, hey, I co-parent. No, you don't. No, you don't at all. I call bullshit all day. It take real parents to co-parent, and co-parent simply is just what it is. It's co-parent. It's putting the better benefit of the child
in front of your ego and all that.
Before you or her. Long as the kid has everything they need and provided access to the stuff that they need. That's co-parenting.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But it's hard for Black fathers because, for one, naturally we are not given custody. You see what I'm saying? Like when a child is born, the only way a father is given custody, a mother has to be drugs or something, or really even stronger man. And even then it's hard. Before you can be the father, but they will say, hey, the child gonna go to the state first, then we gonna see about putting the child in your care. But you the natural father, you there. So you already got a strike against you in that area. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of things to discourage a Black father from being in their kid life. And the last thing a Black father want is the mother of their child to add discouraging facts to keep them from their kid life.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the bitter baby mama. So this might get a little deep. So I mean, I've ran across it, and you're right. The bitter baby mama cost me, thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? So do you feel as Black men, is it something that we create the bitter baby mamas? Or what? I mean, what do you think? What do you think is the cause of it? Because I know, for example, like, and I mean, I've seen the situation where, all right, well, we just don't get along. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, we just don't get along. That don't mean we got to get along. But then it comes to a situation where, because we don't get along, that ultimately the first thing that you want to do is to take the kid away. What y'all think? So so I guess it's a two-part question. The first question is, who causes the bitter baby mama? Are we the cause of the bitter baby mamas? And the second question is, this one gonna take some thinking power. How do we fix the shit?
Prayer. That's all you can do. You can't fix no woman like I can only speak from experience. I think, in my case, I don't think I created the bitter baby mama. And I think, I can't speak for every man out there, but majority women are emotional creatures. They act off emotions. That's how they were built. That's in their chemical DNA. That's what they act off of emotions. It is what it is. That's what makes them such great caretakers when it comes to kids, providers and everything, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you get with a girl and you have no signs as to what hell she's about to put you through until it's too late. You don't. Man. And you have a child.
It's always signs.
This way, okay, it's always signs, but
I don't know about it. Somebody needs to tell me what the signs look like.
Listen,
it be signs.
They be small signs.
It be little
small.
red. Looking back,
you're right. You just choose to ignore it.
You just choose to ignore it, But when I got divorced from my wife, my wife told the judge, well, he divorcing me, he's divorcing his son. And
see, that's not fair.
The judge did not agree with that. And it's pretty much like, okay, I mean, women don't want you to get with them. You all have a child. It doesn't work out. You could try to make it as peaceful as you want to, as far as the breaking apart goes. But a lot of things go into making a woman bitter, a bitter baby mama. You move on and you're doing better than when you were with her. You go on and the girl who you with is prettier than her.
No, I don't think it's a lot. It's just one thing, and y'all saying it. The relationship don't work. That's it. Well, that's the bottom baseline. What created? That's the bottom baseline.
So do we? Because I mean, like, so for example, like I know for both situations in mind, like for my youngest son, luckily I didn't have a bitter baby mama in that instance there. You know what I'm saying? We have our tussles that we don't agree. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's not that bad. But I know for my oldest son, we went to war. You know what I mean? So what? When you say signs, like we never argued. There was not one time in the year that we were together that we argued. We had no problems, no issues, no nothing. It wasn't. Then she got pregnant. So once she got pregnant, it was still all good because I told her to come.
Was she territorial?
No, she wasn't.
No.
She came into when she moved into my apartment because as a man, I'm like, well, listen, if you having my child, we might as well stay together. I had my own spot. She was staying with her peoples. Nah, come stay with me. If we gonna do this, we gonna do this together. And it wasn't until like the last 2 months of the pregnancy that's when it got left. And it was because people was in her ear. In my opinion, it was people in her ear and things that was kind of messing everything up. You know what I mean? And then, my oldest son has not seen, since he was born, he's never not known an instance where me and his mother was together. Same as my youngest son, same thing. Since they was born, they have not seen, there wasn't a point in time in a relationship where there was. Every time my children were born, they were born and we weren't together. So did I cause that? But I knew for a fact, 2 months into it, I know this ain't gonna work. Yeah. So I just say, listen, this ain't gonna work. Let's just cut it. So did I cause that?
No. I think it's totally backwards. What I'm saying is, in my eyes, to be a better baby mama, you would have to have a father who doesn't want to be in that child life. You see what I'm saying? But just because you separate in a relationship, that shouldn't cause somebody to be a better baby mama. That's just a better person. You know what I'm saying? You're not content with y'all situation of separating. So it seemed like the real reason you should be a better baby mama, that you don't really take that in consideration, but you take, okay, well, me and him separate or whatever, so I'm gonna be nasty to him. Naturally, you end up punishing your kid, and you cause, you see what I'm saying, like a whole downhill flurry of just bad things to come. You see what I'm saying? So I don't. Bitter baby mamas should be bitter for a real reason. Don't be bitter because you and him separated, and you know what I'm saying. Just because between you and him. Be bitter because somebody not taking care of their child. Be bitter because somebody don't want to, you know what I'm saying, help influence their child. Be bitter because, you know what I'm saying, that person don't give a crap about their child. Then be bitter. Be bitter, but do not be bitter because the situation didn't work out with you and that person. That go for males too. That's just stupid to me. You see what I'm saying? You end up punishing the kid because of your personal decisions with the other person, and you can't emotionally deal with it.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. When you're not able to emotionally deal with a situation, then the first thing you want to do is kind of retreat into a corner and find a way to lash out, at the same time protect yourself. So I think that when it comes to a bitter baby mama, it's just like they be bitter for the wrong reasons.
And hurt people like to hurt people.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
My mom told me that.
That's true. Hurt people like hurt people like to hurt people.
If they know it's something, like me and my son love football. My son is only allowed to play half the season because with me having joint custody, when it's her week, my son doesn't get to play.
But see, that's the thing. If it was good co-parenting, then
that's what
y'all should be on the same page. Like, see, that's why. Oh man, just co-parenting need to be real co-parenting. You see what I'm saying? Not because you have a personal grievance or a personal beef. You know what I'm saying with the other parent. That shit is tiresome. That shit just steady bring the black male father down. It steady smears their name. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like it do.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that. So now he can only play half the season.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing.
That just don't make no
sense.
sense.
Yeah, that doesn't. So tell us. I mean, because I know for a fact, like mine, he was playing soccer, and I was able to get his mama to kind of, but it wasn't a situation where I was complaining. It was like, all right, well, I got, I already paid for his soccer lessons. You need to go. So, like, how do you deal? Like, I don't even know how to deal. Like, that's a lot for me because, like, I know that's money wasted.
Definitely.
Time wasted.
Definitely money wasted.
And then even if you were going to try to use that as an outlet for anger for him, it really
suppresses it now because, and I mean, at first, my son been playing, he's 11 now, he's been playing football since he was 6. So he was playing, going on 6 years. And at first, it was okay, but she was never really showing any interest in it, but she was allowing him to do it. Once the divorce and everything got finalized and I moved on, he don't have to play on, he's not going to play on my week. I said, that doesn't make sense. I said, football is not a bi-weekly sport. It's a season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's going to have games on your week as well as my week. She didn't agree with it. So I was able to find, a football park with a great president who allowed me, your son can play. Because a lot of coaches were telling me that's not fair to him, and it's not fair to the other players. Right. But I found someone who was sympathetic to my situation to say, you know what, pay the fee and he can play. And would even go to the extent to move certain important games around so it would be on my week. But it's no different from perfect example of a bitter baby mama. I went to Cancun for my birthday. Came back in January. My son said, I want to go overseas. I said, look, I will not go overseas again. The next time I go, you're going to go with me. I was like, all right, cool. I promised him that. So I told him, I'm like, let's go to Jamaica. I didn't tell him about it because I know how his mom is. So I sent her a text and I said, hey, I want to take BJ to Jamaica. He's never been overseas. I want to take him to Jamaica or whatnot. Are you okay with that? She was like, fine. Maybe 2 days go by, she texted me back and said, are you taking him to Jamaica on these dates? And it was supposed to be in July. This July coming up. And I was like, no, we're not taking him in June. We're taking him in July. And she was like, all right, fine. Once I went down to the post office and I found out that the other parent had to sign off on the child being taken out of the country. Right. Once I told her that, it was a wrap. I need to, if something was to happen to him, I can't get to Jamaica. If we go to Atlanta, you don't have the means to get to Atlanta right away, so what difference does it make? Yeah. But see, and it just completely went left, and that just goes to show, once she found out that she was in a position to hurt me, she did. And that's the perfect example of a bitter baby mom. Doing something that you think is hurting. I done been all over the country. I mean, all over the world. I did 10 years in the Navy. But why would you stop your son at 11 years old, seeing different countries and continents, and that just, you hurting him. Thank God I didn't tell him about it. Because I've learned in the past, don't tell him about stuff.
Well, he gonna know now. If he watch.
Oh yeah, But that was her being bitter. Yeah. If you tell me you want to take him, I'm taking him to the Virgin Islands instead. I found out you don't need a passport for that. But it's like, even with football, he couldn't play, but these same neighborhood kids go to his school. Right. Why you ain't playing the game, BJ? We had a game? Yeah. Same thing with me when he asked me, my mom coming to the game, and I'm telling him, well, she knows about the game, so we're going to see if she comes or whatnot. But that affects him.
Yeah, it do.
Because she's not showing any interest. And when you don't show any interest in what your child has going on, it causes all type of problems. It causes depression. It causes them to have low self-esteem. That goes back to me saying that I have a passage that I make my son read every morning to build up his self-esteem, because it's not always, the media and television, they always depict the child going through issues because of the lack of presence of the father. But it's also on the same end of the stick with the lack of presence of a mother. They go through the same type of heartaches, the same type of letdowns, the same type of depression, the same type of all of that. So, but they feel like they're hurting the father, and really they are, but you're really hurting the father because you're hurting the child, and we have to see that.
Right.
And we don't really have an answer for it. I don't know what to tell my son when I tell him your mom's coming to a game and it's the end of the season and she hasn't come to a game. I don't know what to tell him. So, yeah.
First off, I would be upset simply because for her to even, you see what I'm saying, question you about wanting to take your son to Jamaica. That's like another smell. That's saying, you're not capable. You're not able. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And that's what burned me up.
Yeah, I guess that how do you get to decide?
Right,
you know what I mean? Like,
how do you make the decision on whether I'm capable enough to be a good parent to take my child anywhere? It shouldn't even be no question. You see what I'm saying? It shouldn't be no question. If you want to take him to Rome, she should have enough, faith and belief in you as a dad.
I'm not gonna keep him in harm's way.
To know that you're not gonna let nothing happen to your child.
On that instant, I mean, I'm making the effort and the energy to even do something like this. So why would I? You know what I mean? Like, why would I do anything to hurt my kid if I'm the one that wants? I'm bringing this to you. You're not bringing it. You're not forcing me to do something. I'm telling you what I want to do, and it's not even a tell. It's a situation where you gotta ask.
Right.
And that's, I think, what we all have a problem with, is because I prefer not to ask to do anything with my kid. It's my child. You know what I mean? It's equally my child. So I shouldn't have to ask you, all right, well, listen, can he do trick-or-treating with me this year? Because he did trick-or-treating with you this year. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have to ask that. I should say, well, listen, hey, you know what? Let him decide. And he say that he want to do trick-or-treating with daddy. Okay, cool. Let me go get his costume. Let's knock that out. You know what I mean? So what do y'all think? And we can go for days on this. Y'all know that. So we might have to do a part 2. So what do y'all think, trying to wrap everything up, what is one thing that you want your kids to take away from this podcast, from the teachings that we do as a Black father? And I want you to think of that question from both sides. From the boys' side, I know you don't have any girls, but from the girls' side as well.
First and foremost, what I want all my kids to know is that I love them unconditionally. And I want all other brown-skinned kids to know that their dad loved them unconditionally. They may not know it, they may not see it, because like I said, this is a big soup bowl of complications. You see what I'm saying? So some kids may feel like, well, my dad don't love me because my dad don't see me or whatever. That may not be the case. Your dad may just be trying to figure out how to get it done. That don't mean your dad don't love you. You see what I'm saying? And it gets so misconstrued, because I feel like the same way, back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s when they was fighting for women equality rights, Black men are fighting for the right to basically be fathers. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like that's an ongoing fight. And it's a hard fight. You see what I'm saying? I done sat down with a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, and done cried with people because, you know what I'm saying, they just lost. They don't know what to do. You can see it in their eyes. They love their kids, but their kids don't even know, because they going through so many hardships trying to find a way to get that love to their kid.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I want all kids to know, whether or not you see your dad a lot or a little bit or whatever, just know they love you. Don't take nobody else's word for it. Just know they love you. You know what I'm saying? Until get it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Don't let nobody else influence you about your dad.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? When you talk to your dad, you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know how much they love you. You'll see it in their eyes. You'll hear it in their voice.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear it the way. One thing I know, our kids bring a mellowness to us.
Yeah.
We can be so tough. You see what I'm saying? And my kid's older now, but you know, like my youngest, like, you know, I'm so tough. But if she tell me she finna paint my nails, look,
Yeah.
that's just what's going on.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I love my kids. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of great men who love their kids, who not in the best situation like me, but I know they love their kids because I talk to these people on a regular basis. You see what I'm saying? They just trying to figure out how to deal with the system and how to deal with all the pressures that's trying to keep them from being a great black father. So I want all kids to know, like, your dad love you. They do.
I want my son to know that, you know, pretty much that I gave a damn, despite, you know, every obstacle and hardship.
Amen.
You know, that I just care, you know, and that I you know, I pride myself on being a father, and that, you know, it's like 3000 said, I'll be there, you know, first day of school and graduation. I'm going to, and beyond that, and everything that you know, all your future endeavors and everything that you go out to do, whatever you want to pursue in life, whatever you want to become, I'm going to back it 1000%. But regardless of what he may have been told or what he may have overheard, you know, it wasn't true. And I won't just tell you that I love you. I will, you know, I will show you through my actions. You'll feel it when I hug you.
Right.
You know, you'll see it when I'm in the stands cheering for you on whether it's football, whatever sport you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to tell by father and son time that I make time to have. Mm-hmm. You know, it's through all of that. That's, you know, and like kids, like you said, kids who don't see it or hear it or, you know, even feel like they don't feel it, don't form an opinion until
you find out
for yourself. Because the worst thing you can do is jump to the wrong conclusion off of what somebody else told you, you know, and that's one thing that baby mamas do. You know, my baby mama called it keeping it real, which was so ignorant. But they tell a woman can have a perception of the father and push that perception onto the child, and that's wrong.
That's not the kid's perception. That's a push persona.
They're pushing it on.
And that's not keeping it real.
Exactly, and you know, and the child at the end of the day is innocent. My mom is always saying this about my dad. My mom is always talking to her friends in a negative light about my dad. And kids are very, very impressionable. They soak up everything like a sponge. And they grow up with this resentment only to meet their father and be like, man, I wish I knew. Yeah.
What you saying is, I think it resonates with more than half the country.
Yeah. And then the child grows up and meets his father for the first time and like, damn, she was tripping. You know, that wasn't true.
My dad ain't even like that. He
wanted to be around.
You see what I'm saying?
You know,
but it's sad because a lot of times that don't happen until the kid is of age.
Yeah.
So now, because of BS, you've missed out on so many years of your kids. So now you have to settle for the adult years. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And that's so unfair. You see what I'm saying? It's that you can't get it back. You have to spend time trying to prove that what's been put into your child's head is not true.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like a hidden agenda.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And it hurts the kids. You know what I'm saying? And it don't always turn it do not always turn out for the best, because sometimes a child can be damaged so much from the stuff that they told to, you know what I'm saying, when the father do get a chance to sit down and rap to him, it's a rap.
Yeah.
Like their mind is totally brainwashed, and it's like the father can't come back from that. So it's like, damn, I done lost everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My baby mama tried to do. She accomplished it.
Yeah.
Good job. Kudos. You kept my child from me.
Yeah.
You made it. You made this happen.
Yeah.
I think something I know I really want my kids, especially my boys, you know, is to let them know that, like, listen, I'm tired. You know, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. But no matter how tired I am, how exhausted I am, it's that breath of life that they have in them that keeps me fighting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, listen, I know necessarily it's not going to be easy. I understand that. You know what I mean? But it's going to be that situation like, son, I'm tired. And I want to play with you. I really do. But I'm tired, son. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to hide the fact that me and your mom are going to court every day, and I'm sitting in court and I'm getting tore to shreds.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I come home and it's my time with you, and what energy I do have, I spent it in court that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even though I'm tired, son, like, the things that you can't see is the things that I'm really out here, like, working. Like, I'm trying to make sure. Because I know for me, when I had to go get custody of my son, it cost me $7,000 in total, almost $10,000.
Wow,
and that's how I got joint custody. You know what I mean? And joint custody, which is 50-50. You know what I mean? Like, literally.
And that is ridiculous.
So that cost me $10,000. So, you know, and my son, he says to me all the time, he say, well, Daddy, I want to do this, and Daddy, I want to do that. And I say, you know what, son, I will make sure we get it done. You know, I'll make sure. But then I'm like, son, I'm going to have to work just a little bit harder. Right. You know, I'm going to have to work a little bit more hours, son. Mm-hmm. And I want you to, I may not be the, you know, by the time you get home, but I still let you know that I'm home. When you wake up in the morning, I'm there. You know what I mean? And I want you to know that no matter how tired I am, it is all for the purpose of you. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not because I'm tired, because I'm just tired. It's for the purpose of you. You know what I mean? And as I go into it, trying to prepare for the next time, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's for you, you know? So, I mean, I appreciate y'all coming, because it's a conversation that we definitely need to have. And I know we haven't even touched.
Not even scratched the surface.
But, you know, I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know if we're going to end up doing a series where we end up having some women on here, some single women, on here. And y'all tell us what y'all think. You know, if we have some single women on here or some single moms on here and kind of have a conversation, almost like a round table. We'll have security. Definitely. But, you know, I think it's something that, I mean, I'm very proud of the two men that are here with me. As you know, I definitely call the one on my left my true to life brother, you know, and I've been knowing BK since we was youngins. Yeah. So, you know, it makes me proud to see what y'all do, man. Yeah. It really is. You know, I laugh. I literally laugh when I see the text messages that you and your son post on Facebook. Man. You know what I mean? It's hilarious. You know what I mean? Daddy this and daddy that. I'll do that. And then, you know, Blak, you know, and I know you've probably never heard me tell you this, but, you know, I'm blessed to see you know, the things that you do for your kids. You know what I mean?
Bro.
It is. So, I mean, and it's this type of unity between us that gives me that energy to continue to go forward.
We gotta support each other.
So I really want this to be a podcast or an episode where other men can actually sit down and realize you're not in this by yourself. You got people that are there, and it might be just looking at somebody's post and laughing at them and say, you know what, I should do that with my son. Or seeing, you know, the love that they have for their kids on both spectrums, and they still keep fighting. That's the jointness that we need. Blak, I know you involved in a lot of those Black dad groups. Can you name a couple of them on Facebook?
One of them is Black Fathers of America. And then the other one is Fathers' Rights Movement. Then the third one is Black Fathers Anonymous. They are Black father support groups. I mean, you know, they are pushed towards the African American culture more, but we have other races in there. It's just a support group. So if some of you guys, you know, you're going through something, you can research those groups, father rights movements. It's a lot of inspirational messages and supportive things in there that can get you through a day. You know what I'm saying? Get you through your hard times. And if ain't nobody tell y'all, happy Father's Day, fellas.
Yeah, definitely. And BK, I know you was talking about, you know, understanding their rights. Tell them a little bit about, you know, some of the resources where they can find some ideas or some ways to kind of help out. Tell them a little bit of what you know.
For me, it was pretty much the library. I went in, you know, before going to the library, I went on Google and I just typed in father's rights. And, you know, my situation was a little bit different because I was married. So because I was married, I was kind of entitled to joint custody if I wanted it. But, you know, majority of the fathers out there, they may not be married. They're not married. So what you need to do is you have to read. Since the beginning of time, they've put stuff in books to keep it hidden from you know, people, especially African Americans. My father always taught me that.
I heard that.
They put it in a book, you know, and then when we started reading books, they started putting it in fine print. So all you have to do is read.
You have to read.
But just know this, if you help bring a life into this world, you have the right to be in that child's life. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. A lot of guys get discouraged by having you know, a jail sentence, or, you know, having like a lengthy record. If it's nothing dealing with child abuse, child pornography,
you have rights
to your child, just like the child mother does. So all you have to do is read. That's all you have to do.
I would encourage you guys to check out the Father's Rights Movement on Facebook. It's a lot of links in there that go for different states. It's links to the government, city council, things like that. It's a lot of resources in those Facebook groups the way you can get quick access to what you're trying to get to. Now, you're still going to have to do your research. You're still going to have to read. But in those groups, it'll give you good direction on where to start at and what forms you may need. So please check out those groups, fathers. Stay encouraged. Please stay encouraged, because we are a dying breed and we have to build our numbers back up.
Listen, I mean, I agree. I know personally, I mean, if you were going through something, feel free to contact me. You know, I do have a lawyer. I have offered him several times. I mean, he is a beast of a lawyer. It's sad that we have to get to that point, you know, but feel free to contact me. I mean, if there's anything that I can do to kind of help out to be able to get you the knowledge, I certainly will. I mean, I employ these brothers to be able to help me to kind of continuously spread the word. I mean, they do it on a regular basis anyway. And again, this isn't a ploy to bring down the black woman or to be able to establish anything. This is just a conversation that I wanted. This is kind of like my birthday present. My birthday is June 19th. So this is my birthday present to me. I wanted to have a conversation that was recorded.
It's a conversation that need to be had.
Yeah.
And be able to get it out. So this is my birthday present to myself. And I really appreciate y'all coming up here and really sitting down and having this conversation with me. And there will definitely be a part two.
No doubt.
Definitely be a part two. I have to sit down and talk to the producers and figure that one out. But
No doubt.
Listen, happy Father's Day from all of us here at Emerging Blak, Aftershock Entertainment, Vision Sound, Class Act Studio Ones, any business that I'm affiliated with, we all want to say, happy Father's Day to you guys, as well as, again, just keep yourself encouraged. All right? Listen, until next time, we'll see. I don't know what our episode will be next week, but it might be it ain't gonna be that one. Listen, they gotta soak up this one, and this one already is intense. Yeah, so I don't know what our next episode is gonna be, but listen, keep on our social media, Emerging Blak. There's eBlak News. It's not Emerging Blak. We changed it. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram is eBlak News. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to email emergingblak@gmail.com. And then BK, tell them a little bit about what you do on because I know you sell shoes, right?
Yeah, I have my own shoe brand. It's called King's Kicks. It's all over Facebook and social media. You've probably seen it. King Lace Me, @King Lace Me, all one word on Instagram. And it's King branded on Facebook. And pretty much any of the high-end sneakers or whatnot that come out, the hassle of having to stand in line, do raffles, I'm the guy who eliminates all that. And I make sure that whatever you want, I get it to you, So, yeah. King's Kicks, that's the name of the brand.
King's Kicks.
King's Kicks.
And then what you got for us, Blak?
Well, I'm just your local community supporter. I'm here for help. Whatever y'all need, I'm here.
Yeah, he does a lot of the behind the scenes with Emerging Blak. So anytime that you see, it has been recently. Anytime that you see me doing an event, my brother's right there with me, and I employ BK to come out, definitely help the community. But listen, until next time, I appreciate everything that y'all do. I appreciate y'all watching the show, and we will see y'all soon.
Peace, love, and soul.